Today, big Australia is back, baby. Hello again, it's Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics, where I've noticed posts covering finance and property news with a distinctively Australian flavour. Well, the common belief across Treasury, government and business is we need more people to feed the economic machine in Australia. And of course, Australia's been built on migration since its inception, but in the past couple of decades the rate of growth accelerated so as to avoid a recession, despite the fact that GDP per capita and productivity have been in reverse for years. The consequence of flooding the country with more people is that our main urban centres are highly congested, rental prices rise, and generally the quality of life diminishes. Now, of course, migration went off the rails through COVID, and in the financial year 2021, there was a net loss of 85,000 people, which represented the lowest level of net overseas migrations since World War I. But we're now back on the big Australia train. So no surprise that when last week the Australian Bureau of Statistics released its population data for the June quarter of 2022, it showed that the net overseas migration, the NOM, was 58,000 over the quarter and 171,000 over the year. Nationally, migrant arrivals rose 171%, when compared to last year. That's 395,000, compared with 146,000 the previous year, while migrant departures fell 3% from 224,000 to 231,000. Now, this 58,000 net overseas migration was significantly less than the all-time high of 97,900 recorded in the March quarter, but it was the highest net overseas migration for a June quarter since 2008. Migrant arrivals on temporary visas saw a large increase in 21-22 when compared to 2021, 329,900 compared with 29,600. This increase has largely been driven by student visa holders. The number of people migrating to Australia on permanent visas also saw an increase in 21-22 compared with 2021, 67,900 compared to 37,000. The results followed November's net visa arrivals data, which soared to 310,000, which excluded visitor visas in the year to November. This lift in net visa arrivals has been driven by soaring net student and work visas, which boomed to 229,890 and 108,650 in the year to November, respectively, both well above pre-pandemic levels. Now, last month, Education Minister Jason Clare told The Australian that there was still a lot more work to do to drive international student numbers higher, and that Labor are rebuilding our international education sector by breaking the back of the visa backlog. Therefore, net student arrivals are certain to rocket higher in 2023, which will also drive net overseas migration to record levels, which are well in excess of the federal budget's 235,000 forecast. In turn, of course, Australia's rental crisis will worsen, unemployment will rise, and wage growth will be suppressed. So this is great news to businesses, the property sector, and the education and migration lobbies, but it's really bad news for ordinary Australians, especially those stuck in the rental market. And it's also interesting to see where migrants chose to land initially, with New South Wales at 62,210, Victoria at 55,630, Queensland at 23,430, South Australia 12,080, Western Australia 9,500, the ACT 3,120, Tasmania 2,740, and the Northern Territory at 2,130. But as I reported the other day, of course, people land in New South Wales and in Victoria to an extent, but then move elsewhere across the country. So where people end up and where they land isn't necessarily that helpful. But the question I've got to ask is, do we really want a big Australian policy, bearing in mind that our poor planning and housing policies have led to ultra-high property prices and massive issues with housing affordability and availability? Now, I personally think that we still have plenty of spare capacity in the country, but of course it's not being accessed or utilised. So rather than just turning on the migration tap and hoping for the best, what I think we need is firstly a better debate about what the right level of migration is. I think it should be lower. And secondly, how we ensure that the dots are joined to enable people when they come into the country to find somewhere to live at a reasonable price and, of course, to get a reasonable job. Actually, the bottom line is this. At the moment, many of those people are coming in to fill student places at universities. Some of them may stay. And many others are being brought in to earn not a lot to try and fill the job holes across the economy where local businesses aren't prepared to pay the true local rates. So there's a lot more going on here than many people think. But the bottom line is this: Big Australia is back, and it's back with a vengeance. I'm Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics. Many thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.